Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Extreme Radio, built by MDI Construction Inc., MDIConst.com, or MDI Construction Inc. on Facebook for all of your commercial property needs. I haven't said it in a while, but a really good day for the Titans. It's the last show. Got to go for it. Good day for the Titans. I was at that game. It was awesome. And you know what other game I was at this weekend? The 2017 Extreme All-Star Game. One of the best. What are you doing over there, James? Flexing, huh? Okay. Flexing what? Of course. The All-Star game for 2017 was awesome. Only the second 8-man football All-Star game in history. Did I actually get that right? Are we the only 8-man football All-Star game, or are there other ones?
No, they do one in Mississippi and Georgia and Kansas. Actually, Kansas and Oklahoma is where I got the idea for it. But they do one out there. Michigan does one, I think. So it's all over, but it's the first one in like Tennessee history. No one's ever, taken the time to put it together like we have. So no, it's just the first one in Tennessee history. But man, only the second game, and it almost went to overtime. I mean, it was a missed call on a false start away from going to overtime.
Is that Tennessee and Kentucky, right? Kentucky's never had an All-Star game, yeah. Yeah, but 31-24, Team Legate got the victory over Team Jones. What was that, Trent?
Is it a big surprise?
That's
again, you came a missed false start call away from tying. Okay, and Team Jones they were on like the 2, and they were getting ready to score, and your boy Jalen Tillman came up with the big interception, but that's how close you came to losing.
Okay. I still took the W, didn't I?
Struggle win.
Yeah, it was a pretty big struggle win in James's words there, but Team Legate got the win.
It wasn't really a struggle win at all at any cost. It was just a fun game. You can't really act like it was actually like a huge game, that the win actually meant something. It was just another game to let all the players play, and I was really excited. As if anyone was there could tell, I was really excited that I won. But like I said, to the players, the win probably doesn't mean a whole lot to them. I mean, even for me, when I won last year, I'm 2-0, and that doesn't really mean a lot because it's just there for fun. That's the only reason why you're there. You're just there for fun, play your one last game, and play with some of your best guys that you wouldn't otherwise get to play with.
I especially loved about All-Star Weekend when we got up there. Elijah and I were the first ones up there. So you guys had a little bit of transportation issues getting up there, but we were the first ones there. We were going to have a table to set up, and we just kind of let people come to the cabin and just get checked in and everything. So come on, James. Stop looping back the audio. Nice job, James. You got to put in your headphones, man. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Sheesh. Sheesh, yeah, your computer's a little bit. But anyways, so, it was one of those weekends that this is the first time that I was actively involved in the All-Star game with coordination and such out of the second time, because, James, you even mentioned it while we were there that, just you and JD, your wife Monica, are the only ones kind of coordinating it and running things together. So you at least had more people on hand. So now that I'm reminded of it, next year, we need walkie-talkies at the All-Star game because
we need water boys. We need water boys. So that was a water boy, ball boy, T-boy, and coach.
Let's select from each team which water boys or water girls come to games.
How would you even pick that? I mean, how would
Tanner Brown
most effective? Like how effective are you? Like would have to legitimately watch.
Go with the ones who were from the CCS FCA semi. Go with the ones from there because whoever kept the ball dry the most in the wettest of conditions.
No dry football. They were all white. And yes, we are actually talking about this. No, I agree. We need walkie-talkies because if y'all have never been up there, it is a massive camp and there's no cell service. So you're like hoping that you run across them. And there's like 4 places you could either be: the cabin, the cafeteria, the gymnasium, or the office. So you're running between all 4, hoping that you can track them down. We do need walkie-talkies, but no, legitimately, the first year, last year, myself, JD Young, put it together and we ran it. JD was one of the coaches. So, my wife Monica and I were just, trying to work on it. And JD helped out a lot, and his parents and his friends. But it was really, really awesome to have Elijah helping with one of the teams, and Trent helping with the other to have them in the dorms. Spencer, you were there. Isaiah Austin. Dude, Isaiah Austin killed it. If y'all have not watched the game itself, go back and watch the game and watch the beginning, that headshot compilation video. That was Isaiah staying up till 2 in the morning working on that, and he killed it. A huge shout out to our photographer, Elmer Harris. He's videographer. Yeah, he does a bunch of stuff down in the area, and he agreed to help us this year, and he's fantastic. The really cool software he had lets you do instant replay. So that was really, really cool to be able to go back and see that. But it was awesome. My wife's sister was able to come down and help with some of the photographing. So yeah, it's pretty. Okay, yeah. And a big shout out to our clock operator. I was up in the press box trying to do clock operator, and they kept stopping it because I was messing up, and I was trying to do PA, and I was trying to do music. So Creasy came up and did our prayer. And so I asked my wife, I was like, go get Creasy, I need him. So he comes up, I was like, can you run box? So he came over and ran the scoreboard, and that was really awesome of him. So big thank you to him. Gave him a little swag, as y'all could see earlier. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad we could hand out shirts and everything. Big shout out to 615 Sports for everything they were able to do with that.
Since this is our last show, I think it's fair to we integrate the YouTube comments we're kind of getting here. So for all you 7 watching, we'll go ahead and integrate some of those there. Let's see. Micaiah, I believe its name. Right now it just went down to 6 there. But Micaiah, I'm hoping I pronounced that right. Micaiah Adair. Yes, I remember James getting roasted. If you're talking about during the special edition of Extreme Radio when you said he sounded like what was it? Theodore from Alvin and the Chipmunks. That was brilliant.
Someone said I sounded like Theodore, and then I came over and sang. And then I came over and sang, and you guys said I sounded like Elmo. So yeah, but no. Hey, when that if y'all watch, when everyone goes berserk, I hit what the Globetrotters call a 4-point shot, swish one arm, just threw it on Dude Perfect style, and I nailed it. But that was a really awesome show. If y'all haven't watched that, go back and watch that with Zane and Taylor and Tanner Sturgis, who gave Nate Green a really cool shout out too.
And yeah, it was all Trent's idea on that special radio show edition, so we give credit to him. Yes, all his idea there. Speaking of basketball, actually, do you mind? Speaking of basketball, that was one of the big things. We tried to get the broadcast up, but the camera was just giving us a little bit of issues during that. Yeah, I'll take the blame on that one. But it was awesome to see, a bunch of guys who were football players selected for a football all-star game, that they had some pretty decent skills on the floor, or on the court for basketball there. A lot of good players. I mean, now Elijah Jones could argue that he was the best player out there. He could, but,
I was obviously the best player out there on the court.
Okay, of course, Trent will probably fight with Elijah even more.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say, I got crossed by a Bowling Green guy, so he's put me in a spin cycle for sure.
All right, our Bowling Green mention counter is at 1, actually 2.
So yeah, make that 2. Speaking of which, Trent posted his. I saw your Instagram post there, Trent, of the All-Star game. Yeah, the first picture was a team picture. The second one was with you and all the Bowling Green guys.
Those are the only pictures that anyone want to take with me. No one else want to take a picture with me besides Bowling Green.
Didn't you say you got the guys hype on the sideline though for your team?
Yeah, I'm the hype man.
Then how come no one wanted to take a picture with you other than Bowling Green and the rest of the All-Stars?
Probably everybody thought I was crazy. Did you hear me during that game?
We did, yeah, because we were on the sideline right next to you, or above. At least Isaiah and I were in the press box. Yeah, we were kind of looking down, and we were hearing "Let's go!" all that kind of stuff. You truly were a hype man for the All-Star game. Although we were not on the other sideline for Team Jones, I mean, I didn't see Elijah getting as much into it. I could be wrong, but I didn't see him that much getting into it on the sideline there. So, you may have him beat on maximum hype,
He's not really that type of guy, though. Even when he played, he was very, very quiet. He's chill, low-key. He's pretty laid back. But our Bowling Green counter's at 4 now.
3.
So, anyways. It was at 3, and then I said Bowling Green. 5.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, So we're not going to count Creasy saying BGC was
No, it's only the times that we say it.
only
Anyways.
the times that we say it.
One thing I gotta say though, John Stock, like
5.
he is as tough as nails. I mean, he did get run over by Weeks twice, but like on that goal line stop that my team made at the goal line, he popped Weeks down low. That's what I gotta say. And like he came out like about to throw up, and he's like, "Coach, I'm good. I'll just throw up on the field." Like he's as tough as nails.
Yeah, of course, because you would do a goal line stand on the 50.
No,
my player.
I'm sure you'll understand what.
John Buchanan and Gage Holman, and can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. John Buchanan and Gage Holman showed up, and they did great, and John Trahan and everything. James Redding. How about James Redding? The game he had from the Heat. 2 interceptions, a touchdown. Jalen Tillman showed up. But somebody that I thought showed up, and I don't know that anybody expected him to. By the way, a huge shout-out to Coach Creasy for staying up probably until 1 in the morning. He actually went back and watched the video and pulled all the stats from it. So we have all the stats in front of us from the game. My player that I think showed up was the dude from Madisonville. Like I am a Kentucky dude. Yeah, Ethan Garrison. I knew his name. I'm trying to get these stats to pull up, and they're not pulling up, so I'm going to have to go the other way. But no, a lot of guys showed up. Buchanan with a huge run. So here's Ethan Garrison's stat line. If I can find it. Ethan Garrison, 5 tackles, tackle for loss, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. He showed up.
I'm going to have to one up that. I think Tillman, if we had an MVP award, Tillman would have got that.
Probably, yeah. It was either Tillman or Buchanan, one of the two, because Buchanan had that 70-yard rushing touchdown, and then Tillman, I mean, he had that pick on the defensive line.
And he got a kick return, too. Because when we handed it off to him, and that wasn't even planned, he just went in and we just wanted to do it.
That wasn't planned. It was a fumble.
And then the fumble he picked up and ran 8 yards, just couldn't bring him down, and then the interception on a really needed interception on the goal line.
So here's Buchanan's stat line: 10 carries, 108 yards. He had a 74-yard run, 2 touchdowns. He fumbled. 2 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. He had also registered a tackle. Yeah, James Redding, 19 carries, 132 yards. And the longest run was 19 yards. He had a touchdown, 2 catches, lost a fumble. But then on defense, he had 5 tackles, a tackle for loss, 3 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. So he showed up. He showed up pretty big time too.
Speaking of planned or things not going to plan a little bit, how about that initial first play plan with the complete fight breaking out, trying to prank everybody?
Like my wife was okay. So the night before, I think everyone else had pretty much gone to like Taco Bell or Waffle House or Walmart.
It was
or something.
good up in Dayton, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome being able to put up money in the town and everything. But I think it was like me, Zane, and Graham there. We were all hanging out. And so we were like, okay, so we did the Andy's Coming Challenge last year. We kind of have to do something this year. So we got to thinking, and the guys have been fighting the whole time, like just wrestling each other. I think Zane and Brandon had like a wrestling match until late into the night.
20 minutes long. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It was pretty awesome. But, we got to talking about it. We're like, well, let's do a fight. Let's have like a staged fight and like clear the benches and everything. And then at the end of it, Zane and Graham, who are best friends, whatever, they'll push both teams back, and do like rock, paper, scissors and like to win it and then break it up and go back to gameplay. And so we talked to the coaches, talked to all the players. They were down with it. Then I go to talk to the officials, and the officials were like, yeah, that's cool. They said, we want in on it. So the officials are like, we're going to run in, start throwing flags and hats and everything. And my wife was on the sideline in front of the stands. And like the first 3 seconds of the fight, everyone kind of like, everyone just kind of gasped like, oh my gosh, they were around each other for 3 days. Something got said about how FCA whooped Swanee or Classical laid an egg. Something happened. And well, now people are going to be upset. But they were like, something happened. And after about 3 seconds, they kind of realized that it was staged. But I think it went really well. And I like keeping the tradition of pranking the fans. That's funny. It's something that the guys, especially the seniors, is something they could say, hey, my last game, we got to do something cool like that.
Speaking of your wife, we don't give her enough credit for what she does behind the scenes, because she was helping to sell the merchandise there for that once the shirts came in. She was also helping coordinate a bunch bunch of things and doing that. Just credit to her and her for, doing a lot of behind the scenes work and not being as much on camera, not just for the All-Star game, but through the rest of the season.
She did some photography stuff. She was taking some pictures. She ran around, sold merchandise. She was checking concession stand. The whole weekend, she was just helping with getting different things coordinated, getting guys where they needed to go. And, it's really awesome. She's always been throughout the season. Of course, everyone knows that, some people know that there was stuff going on. We were separated the first part of the season. And so when we got back together, everything, she just jumped right back into being as helpful as she was last year. And, I started this thing back in 2014, right before we got married, and she's always been there helping me out. She's made the trips to Memphis with me. She's been everywhere with me. And she's a massive help, a massive support. And guys, if y'all find a good wife and someone who's going to support you and more than just support you, but like actually help you with whatever you're doing, that's a keeper. So I love my wife and I really appreciate her. So little touching moment there, but
we can't discredit her sister either, who was there the entire weekend. She helped out a lot with doing photography work as well. So credits to Monica and her sister, Miranda. That's right. Yeah, I made the mistake of saying cousin there because I'd forgotten what the relation was there, but. Yeah, it's not like they look alike, It's not like they're not similar or anything. But, yeah, it was a good all-star weekend altogether. There's a lot of Taco Bell. I got to tell one thing, that Jalen Tillman, we went to Taco Bell the night before the game. He got a 12-pack of Doritos Locos Tacos, and then he goes up to the counter or something like, what is he doing? I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's ordering like some cinnamon twists or something. He comes back, and they bring 2 Supreme burritos to the table, and Trent can testify to this as well.
I will say something. The most memorable moment that happened for me was the night where like me and Elijah was like with all the Sewanee guys going to Taco Bell and Walmart. That a lot of things happened in that short time, and I won't forget that.
And you guys are going to want to stay tuned because obviously this is the last show, but for the next multiple Sundays after this, every Sunday that we're supposed to have a show at 4, we'll actually be releasing a game that we did throughout the season. We'll be finishing with the editing. Yeah, we'll put that one out. Well, I don't know about that first one because the first one's pretty bad. No, we had to take the championship off for some editing. The editing will be done this week, and so we're getting a little extra help getting that all sorted out. But that game and then the playoff games will be back on. They'll be fixed up a little bit. Y'all, it'll be things where like y'all might not notice, but it's stuff that we noticed that, we needed to take them off and fix them a little bit. But we'll be putting out games throughout the year. Games that I really loved seeing. The Bowling Green Swanee game was great. I'll tell you something I liked was how close Bowling Green and Swanee were. Like I realized that was the first like game of the year, but and then there was a lot of controversy, but those guys like hung out and they were chilling and talking to each other and having a great time. Heat and Webb, they were interacting with each other. But all the guys had a great time. So, I really enjoyed it. I'll tell you, the seniors were great and the seniors showed up, but I'll tell you who really showed up for me was the underclassmen, the sophomores and juniors. I mean, yes.
Gaines is not a junior. He's a sophomore. You said it every single time.
That's what I had on the roster was that he was a junior.
Nah, he's a sophomore.
So someone gave me the wrong stats on that.
I'll take the bullet for that one. That was on.
I was watching. As soon as I got back home, I rewatched like half of it, and it was like, what is he talking about? He's a sophomore.
And that was after we rewatched the mock draft and the special edition of the show on the way home. Anyways, by the way, I think the game is up at like 450, 500 views. Yeah, 500 views. So
all from James and Trent.
Yeah, probably, pretty much. But y'all keep up the watching. For those of y'all that have asked about merchandise, the shirts will be available for order this week. I'll be talking to the graphics guy tomorrow or Tuesday.
And it won't take a month for you to get all your merch.
Yes, now that everything is sorted out, it won't take a month. If you ordered stuff and you have not gotten it, it will be shipped. We're going to try to get it shipped this week. That way you can get it ASAP. But and also something that I think is going to be cool is we're going to be actually working on some more shirt ideas and coming out with more T-shirts, because the support you guys have given for the shirt with our logo and the All-Star Game shirt, there's phrases like Trent. So every week when we would pick games, Trent would go, "I gotta take CCS on this one. I really like him." Yeah. So that's a T-shirt. You gotta say like, okay, so it'll be a shirt like, "I gotta take blank with for this."
I didn't take Bowling Green on this. That's a brilliant idea. Just have a shirt.
Hashtag Bowling Green bias.
And only Bowling Green players to buy it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do one that says what?
What's our counter at for mentions of Bowling Green on the show? Like 10?
Oh no, we can have it.
It's 11 now.
We can have
Mr. Crawley running our.
Like James Southaven prediction 2-6, and have a real prediction.
Or no,
I bet you that shirt will sell pretty well.
Just have a quote from Nate Green, because we mentioned this at the end of the championship. Was that Nate Green hoisted up the championship trophy and he shouted, "Who said 2-6?" So we could probably do that with a.
Listen. I didn't want to pick games, and I ate crow on this one. I didn't miss many. I missed some of my picks, but you know what? It's what happens when you ask someone to make picks in July. This year, my picks will be a little more educated.
The good thing is about that, you have Trent and Isaiah now, at least for our knowledge. You have them to be able to make predictions, whether that be preseason or something. We may get their word on that.
Yeah, I'll be a little more educated, and I might pick South Haven at 3-5, maybe 4-4, somewhere in there. But I'll give them a couple more wins. They'll be all right. But also we've got a ton of pictures and videos from All-Star Weekend, and big shout out to Isaiah Austin, Caden Dickerson. Want to give a shout out to him. He ran that little scoreboard y'all saw on the broadcast on the bottom, and he ran that. So a big shout out to him for coming and hanging out with us. What? Yeah. I didn't run that one I didn't run the actual one that well. I also didn't realize how to run it. Okay, so here's a funny story. So we're trying to set up the scoreboard and everything, and I flip both breakers on. I'm like, all right, we got it. Nope. All right, well, let's plug the cord in the back of the up in the back of the console. Boom. Nope. I'm down at the scoreboard, like looking. I'm checking all the connections, and Spencer goes, "James, you got to plug it in here, like the actual scoreboard itself."
He plugged in his phone and took the extra outlet that was meant for the scoreboard.
No, the scoreboard was never plugged in. But then we got that figured out. But I think the other funny story is one of my favorite stories is me and Zane Quibido, Graham Harrison, and then some dudes from Franklin Classical were sitting around eating lunch one day, and a telemarketer called Graham Harrison. So he in one of the only places on the camp that had cell signal. So he handed the phone to Zane, and Zane starts talking to him. It was a telemarketer about like weight loss, and we'll post the video at some point. But Zane, they were talking to him, and at some point, someone said something that made Zane go, "Well, I usually just cry myself to sleep at night." And so then the telemarketer was asking him if he wanted info, and Zane said, "Well, I'm blind, so that really wouldn't help." And it went on for a couple more seconds, but that was kind of funny to me. And then the headshots. Y'all are going to love the headshot outtakes. That was hilarious.
Basically, everybody was trying their hardest not to laugh at doing the headshots because they were taking it so seriously. There's like Buchanan there, and then of course there was like Graham Harrison was like and it's different.
When y'all see Graham Harrison go or John Buchanan go boom, it's because that was like the fifth take, and so we finally got it. But yeah, those will be coming out as soon as we can get everything sorted and edited and figured.
Yeah, so All-Star Weekend was fantastic. We're looking forward to next year, and even though we haven't looked at all the options, we are confirming that the 2018 All-Star Game is going to be at Fort Bluff Camp. That's at least what James shouted in our last moment. Says James, Trent, and I were about to drive out. James just looked back at the field and he shouted, "Thank you, Fort Bluff Camp." Oh yeah, go ahead, James. Go ahead, James.
Thank you, Fort Bluff. We'll see you next year.
He shouted that, basically confirming, yeah, there are exclusive hosts for the All-Star Game for 2018 as it would stand right now. So, Spencer, use your.
I have the first shirt that we need to come out with, and I hope that we don't get in trouble for it. It's gonna say, "Well, We made it.
That should be on the quote there.
And it will have, okay, what we'll do is we'll have a dash, and it'll have a dash, and it'll say Mr. Harris. We'll give credit where credit's.
Oh yeah. If he's listening right now, I have a feeling we're going to get a call after the show, like some coaches who call us after the show, like, "What do you mean banged up?" Or "What do you mean this and this?" 2 and 6. What do you mean 2 and 6? All that. Yeah. Trent, get off of Instagram. Come on, man. We're telling okay, you said
my favorite moment of the All-Star game is when Gage Holman on like the second play for my team ran a 67, 70-yard touchdown when he was like a last-minute pick to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah, well, James Redding was invited on Sunday night.
Got 12 Bowling Green
12. James Redding 13. Was invited Sunday night. And he had a touchdown and 2 interceptions. So might have been some picks but it might have been a blessing in disguise that South Haven didn't come, that CCS didn't come, that a couple other individual guys backed out. Lighthouse didn't. Well, no, because Lighthouse just didn't show up. And, we didn't replace any of their – we didn't get a chance to replace any of the players, whereas we had to replace some of the guys from CCS and South Haven. So guys like James Redding getting a chance to come, that might have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was a great all-star game. The win by 7 points for Team Legate, and Team Home is now 2-0 now for the all-star game. So I said Team Home, or
because y'all didn't like the name Team Home. So
yeah, we didn't. It was terrible.
Hey, a big shout out also to Daniel Meek and Ryan Scott, the head coaches, for taking the time out of their schedule to come down and coach in that. And Coach Meek's got a baby girl that's 11 weeks old. Coach Scott's got a lot of things going on, and so really big, a huge thank you to those guys for coming down and coaching in the game and putting up with those teenage guys.
Didn't seem like they had any issues with them, to my knowledge, but they really enjoyed. They were great coaches. And I'm sure Trent, or if Elijah were on, he could testify for Ryan Scott, and as well as I'm sure Trent can say some stuff about Daniel Meek. But it's time to shift to look towards the future of 8-man football as we look towards 2018 season. Now, this is one of the things I say that's the beauty of 8-man football, especially at the high school level, is you just don't know what's going to come onto the field, because there are a lot of seniors leaving for teams. There are going to be several different schools that are going to be in the rebuilding phase because a lot of their star seniors are graduating. So they're going to be in the rebuilding phase as we go forward. But you see, your laughing is getting picked up here, James. I'm trying to make a good statement here to segue, and you're killing it.
I'm so sorry. I saw on our live chat where Coach Creasy said, "You need a Roll Tide James shirt," because he's made a tradition of coming on every show we have and saying that. Yeah. I saw it 20 minutes later because I've been so intense. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, is that the beauty of 8-man football and at the high school level is that you don't know what's going to come on the field, and you don't know what the teams are going to be. Prime case of that was 2-6 on your prediction. You didn't know what weapons South Haven had. We honestly didn't know what Jason Zimmerman was going to do with that team, as he came in from Florida, just a complete unknown, but he revamped that team and led them to a championship. But for 2018, I know you don't like predictions, James, so I'm going to go to Trent on this one. Trent, look. Here's the deal, Trent. I think we know what you're gonna say on my question here.
No, just ask your question.
Okay, fine. Now, here's one thing we do want to state before I get this question out. We don't know how the conference is going to restructure, because there are some rumors spreading around that are unconfirmed or not, but there may be the potential of MTAC not doing North and South Division, just merging into one big conference. That's the potential that we've heard. We don't know anything officially yet. They could stick with North and South. They could just merge the conference together. We're not sure. But at least in its current format, Trent, North and South, best teams for next year. We know what your answer is in the North, but we know what your answer is in the North. But give predictions on first, second, and third team in the North and South. He needs a roster. It's not like you haven't been with us the entire season and remembering all the teams. Okay, here's who we currently have in the North. You've got Bowling Green, as you know, Christian Community, South. That make that 13. I want to say now mentions. Okay, so Hendersonville, Christian Community, South Haven, and Lighthouse. Those are the 5 teams in the North. So who's going to get first, second, and who's going to get the bowl in the North?
All right. Well, first it's gonna be how many seniors did South Haven lose this year?
They lost 6 of their seniors.
Now, how many juniors did they have?
7.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. South Haven's gonna be number 1. Bowling Green's gonna be number 2, and then Lighthouse is gonna be number 3.
Any reason on why for Lighthouse on being in the bowl?
Well, I mean, this year they started halfway through the season. They didn't get done with their first bug jitters till the end of the season, so they're gonna improve a lot. And they have a new coach this year as well.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume Coach Sharp can stick around.
Yeah, I mean, like this past season, they had a brand new coach. So the coach is gonna pretty much he knows his players and what he got and what his hand is. So he's gonna do really well with it. But yeah, Bowling Green's
so make that 16 mentions. But so you're telling me that Christian Community, who's playing for the national championship Tuesday, I believe, or tomorrow, you're telling me they're not even going to get to the bowl slot for next year, and you're discrediting Hendersonville as well?
Well, I don't want to disrespect anybody because every team has great players, and some teams have great coaches. And I know, especially Hendersonville, like you said, Coach Meek is a wonderful coach. He's amazing, but they're losing top players. And like Bader, Sturgis, and Cole. Isn't Cole a senior? Yeah, they're losing them top three dogs. So, and it's in CCS case, they're losing a lot of seniors as well. And I don't even think I know like one of their juniors.
How about 30 touchdown, 2 interception quarterback Nathaniel Rowley? Gee, we forgot about that junior.
Well, I mean, like you can have a great quarterback, but what receivers does CCS have coming back? Because isn't Klein a senior?
Yeah, Klein's a senior. They've got guys like Derek Jefferson. They've got Jackson Daughter. They've got guys on the offensive. I've got a list of guys I'm looking forward to. I'm going to go ahead and let you finish your point.
Yeah, but I really do. I think South Haven's going to come back, and it kind of shows. No offense to South Haven's head coach for last year, but it kind of goes to show that like a coach, you can have every player. You're going to have your star players, but if you don't have the coach, you're not going to do well. So I believe coaches really matter, and that shows with South Haven's coach. And that was his first year, and then he came back, met the guys fresh, and look what he did this year. He was able to bring a championship to South Haven.
Yeah, he really did. Again, as I said, we didn't know what Jason Zimmerman was capable of, and he managed to revamp that team to push forward and go through to win their franchise's first MTAC championship. All right, your South predictions. So, because you don't have a roster in front of you. So, in the South, oh, Trent. All right, so in the South, there's the Webb School, Franklin Christian Academy, Tennessee Heat, St. Andrews Sewanee, Riverside Christian, and I feel like I'm missing one more team here, but I think I just named them all. I said Webb at the beginning. Okay, let me do this one more time. Webb, there's Webb, FCA, Sewanee, Riverside, and the Heat, and Franklin Classical. I knew I was missing one. That wasn't intentional, but I knew I was missing one. So out of those teams, who's first, second, and bowl?
Well, first I'm going to put Sewanee because I feel like they're going to have a little vengeance coming up for this season. And one thing I just want to say about Sewanee, I think they have an O lineman and D lineman that could be the best MTech has ever seen by the end of his career. Jalen Tillman, he's going to be a name that MTech teams remember for many years.
He could actually be the first lineman to be on the MTAC All-Conference team. There's never been a lineman on the MTAC All-Conference team.
Why not? Why has there not been a lineman?
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
Don't get mentioned as much as the fast ones.
Is that why James never made All-Star? Is it because
James never made All-Star because he was the second string bench warmer and there wasn't an All-Star game around.
You should have gotten on that starting thing, man. You should have gotten on that starting roster, man.
I should have.
Let me finish. So Sewanee, I believe, is going to be number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with FCS because, like, the same reason for Lighthouse. He got a new coach, and now he knows everybody. And then for number 3, I'm going to go with Riverside because Coach Creasy is a heck of a coach, and I believe he's going to bring that team. They got Riley Hall and Trahan, and they got huge linemen. So I believe they're going to come back, and Coach Creasy is an incredible coach, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finish number 1 next year.
It looks like at least trying to integrate the comments here a little bit more. Let's see. Someone said, watch out for this year's South Haven's freshman class. Let's see. Somebody said, Sturgis said, I made it last year. So I don't know if he's – yeah, he did make – yeah, so James getting another stat there. Make sure your mic's not working there, James. Yeah, your mic's giving a little bit of issues there. But, yeah, Tanner Sturgis made it on the all-conference team last year. So, yes, a lineman has been on there. Yeah, trying to still configure there. Come on, James, get your mic up. Come on, your mic's broken. Nothing yet. Your mic's broken. All right, here, James. Just make your point on my mic. How about that? So I'm not hearing anything.
Well, I'm gonna go into comments. I'm gonna have to disagree with Travis Creasy. I don't think he's hot garbage. I'm gonna have to completely disagree with that.
Hot garbage. That's one of the interesting things is, the more you insult yourself, I want to say it's a more humble presence that you give off to people. No, you're not, James. You got to force crash the Discord app on that phone of yours. But so just to make sure again, so you've got so you got Riverside in the bowl, FCS second, Sewanee first, and you've got South Haven first, Bowling Green second, make that 17, and Lighthouse in the bowl game. So I'm not going to ask for playoff predictions on those because we all know.
Well, I know who's going to win the championship.
Is it?
It's going to be Bowling Green.
Okay, yeah. 18, 14. Okay, like 14 mentions at this point. Yeah.
I'm back.
Yep, you are. James, I know you don't like making predictions. But do you want to make any about first, second, and bowl in North and South?
I have no interest in doing so. But I am a player's man. I am a player's man, and so as such, I have done my homework, and I'm going to talk about the players that I am looking forward to seeing next year. He's looking. Hey, blow the dust out of that. Anyways. All right. You mentioned CCS. Here we go. Their number 1 running back for next year is going to be Derek Jefferson. And I say that
CCS first.
Well, because he mentioned he was asking who the juniors are and who the younger players are. So Derek Jefferson, 23 carries, 338 yards, and 7 touchdowns on the year. So Derek Jefferson is going to show up. You got Brooks Pugh with 6 catches, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You got Micah Jones with 11 catches, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So some of those are some of the underclassmen, some of the sophomores and juniors who have stepped up. And I'm going to scroll down to these defensive stats real quick. Let's see. Of course, you got Dodderer, linebacker. He's only a junior. He had 59 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and he had a sack. You got Avery Harper, who had 47 tackles and then a sack. So, you got some underclassmen there that have really stepped up. Derek Jefferson, 49. Hey, listen. Bowling Green. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Derek Jefferson, 49 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and a sack. So, CCS has some younger players. And then I would be remiss to not mention Mr. Nathaniel Rowley, Mr. Tiny. Well, hold on a second. I will mention him. Nathaniel Rowley this year, 77 of 124. Over 1,300 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And by the way, he was not on the field when South Haven won the championship because he was injured and had come off the field.
Yeah, South Haven took a knee. Does he play defense?
I'm sorry?
Does he play defense?
He does not play defense.
Well, they took a knee at the end of the game.
He's an offensive-only player. Anyways, so quarterbacks I'm looking forward to. Of course, Rowley. I'm looking forward to Daniel Holcomb coming back from FCA. I think he's going to be really, really solid. If Ricky McDowell comes back for Lighthouse,
I can't wait to see Buchanan.
I'm going to
be
get to
fantastic.
Buchanan. You had your time to talk about who you're looking forward to, and I'm working on it.
No, I'm just saying
predictions. He didn't talk about specific players.
Okay, go ahead and move it to 15 because I am looking forward to seeing what Tanner Brown can do for Bowling Green Christian. I think he's going to be a solid quarterback.
I mean, he did great at the end of the season.
He was all right. I'm looking forward to seeing David Black from Riverside Christian. He's going to be a junior this year, and I think he's going to be solid. He was solid until he got hurt. And last but not least, I'm looking forward to seeing what Mr. Kobe Rojo does at quarterback next year as a senior, coming off a state championship win. I think part of the problem from the CCS game was, he was coming off an injury, and B, I just don't think that the play calling was to set him up for success. But I think that, the offensive coordinator for South Haven did a better job in setting him up for that and giving him plays that he felt comfortable running. I'm just saying, it's opinion. It's my opinion. So running back, I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. John Trahan, who had the game-winning touchdown yesterday.
You were the person at the start of the show that complained about that call.
I did complain about the call, but that doesn't mean he didn't run 95 yards for a touchdown. I'm looking forward to Mr. Buchanan. I'm looking forward to Emmanuel Onade from the Webb School. I'm looking forward to Eli Cornett from Franklin Classical School as a sophomore. I think he's going to be solid. He might be their quarterback, though. He might be their future at quarterback. So we'll have to see about that because they have some other good running backs, guys like Caden Dickerson. James Redding from the Tennessee Heat, who had a couple interceptions and a touchdown yesterday. Looking forward to seeing him. Offensive line, I'll run through it real quick. Zach Rogers, Christian Community. Josh Austin, who was at the All-Star game yesterday. I'm looking forward to seeing Ben Thomas from Bowling Green, 16. I think he's going to be a really solid lineman as a senior. He had concussion issues this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Gus Hill, who's going to be a freshman from you're going to see Gus Hill, who's a freshman at Riverside Christian. He could be the second freshman to go to the All-Star game. And Trace Johnson from South Haven Christian. I think him having a year, he was kind of in the background this year, but I think he's going to step up as a senior next year.
Is that OL or is that OL MDL?
Yes. He's
so you're not looking forward to Tillman?
I am looking forward to Tillman. I thought Tillman was a senior when I made this list, and I wasn't at the end of my list. So I'm looking forward to Mr. Jalen Tillman and seeing what he can do. Wide receiver real quick, Riley Davis, Shamar Frey, Luke Clements from Hendersonville Christian. If he gets a chance to play somewhere, he's going to be solid. Chris Savely from the Tennessee Heat. Actually, I did have Tillman on here under defensive tackle. I didn't get down to that.
No, I just asked you if that was OL and DL. You said yes.
I know, but I thought it was under the defensive tackle. Micah DeGrood from the Tennessee Heat. Looking forward to seeing him. Patrick Pembridge from Hendersonville Christian. Of course, I mentioned Daughter. What about Riley Hall from Riverside Christian? That's good stuff. Coach Creasy saying Shamar is the truth. Yeah, for real. I'm looking forward to Mr. John Stock from Bowling Green Christian, 17. I'm looking forward to a dude. Okay, if you've played Riverside on a JV level, you know about this kid. But his I think he's number 8, Crutch Rizel. He had about 10 combined interceptions between varsity and junior varsity. He picked off your boys and ran it back for a touchdown when they played. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Crutch Rizel next year for Riverside Christian. Go ahead.
Because you might mention
I'm looking. Mr. Gage Holman from Bowling Green Christian, 18. What?
Something like 18, 19.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'm looking forward to seeing Andrew Crawley from South Haven Christian. I think him playing defensive back and quarterback, Mr. Ding was solid. See, when I made this list, it was before the championship, so he showed up. So E-Man, we could have 3 good E-Mans next year. I'd be pretty down. They've got E-Man. Well, no, because Emmanuel Toms is leaving from Sewanee. So, but Andrew Crawley from South Haven Christian, I think he's going to be solid at E-back, along with Mr. Ding. And I think he'll be solid at quarterback, too, if Rojo starts acting up. But I've already got some of these guys I'm looking forward to next year. Some of these guys y'all know about. Some of these guys y'all don't know about. I think they're going to be really, really, really solid. And Gabe Stevens from Sewanee at kicker and defensive back. He's going to be really, really good.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he was good. He was a cool dude. Hey, what about him? Was it him or Davis that hit the extra point yesterday after last touchdown?
I don't know. I know they both hit extra points.
Hold on, let me look.
So while you're looking,
I got it right here. Right here. Hold on. 3, 2. Got it. It was Stevens. Stevens hit the extra point yesterday to make it a 7-point ball game, which would have forced Team Jones, if they would have scored with 49 seconds left in the game, to go for the 2 points, to go for the win or the loss. So big shout out to Stevens showing.
Yes.
Hey, and a shout out to Stevens' dad.
Trent's trying to talk.
Trent, we'll talk in a second. Big shout out to Stevens' dad. Hey, he showed up. He was playing basketball. Trent, you played him. He was out there, Mr. Stevens, playing basketball. What? Yeah, that was Stevens' dad. But the thing I liked about basketball, speaking of basketball, was you didn't see anybody like saying, okay, look, this team is only for FCA or SAS players. Like, you had players from 3 or 4 different teams on a team together.
The team I was on was 4 of them were from FCA and then me.
What?
The basketball team I was on, 4 of them were FCA than me.
Okay, well, you had one team like that.
Okay, but before I forget, I just want to say one more person that you never mentioned. I'm surprised since you love the Heat so much. I want to say, I believe Sam Ellis is going to be someone that pops up next year.
Hey, I don't disagree. Sam Wills showed up. Sam Wills.
Oh,
Wills.
My bad.
So you're going to say you got to look out for this guy, but you don't even know his name.
I mean, he's like, what? He's a 8th grader, freshman.
Is he?
He's good. Hey, what about Preston Sloan, the quarterback for the Heat? Showed up there with like 2 or 3 games left in the season. I heard the Heat are going to play some 11-man games in the first part of their season because they got that new 11-man
Lighthouse said? Isn't that what Lighthouse said last year?
Yeah, well, I don't think the Heat are going to go through the change that Lighthouse did. I don't think so. I think they've got a good setup going. They played an 11-man game, which is one more than Lighthouse has played. So,
That's true.
That's true. I mean, for real, it's for real. But you got that new 11-man conference at TSCC. It's got Macon Road, Memphis, Sacred Heart, and Lancaster. So, they could play some of those teams and maybe like a Donaldson, Christian, Easel, Harding.
Speaking of Sacred Heart, in terms of 8-man, in terms of teams of Sacred Heart, their year-end suspension from the league will be ending in May. Or actually, I think for football, it may technically end in January. So there's the potential that they could apply for joining back in the conference, but under the circumstance, I don't see that. But that's at least something, 8-man football, at least news, is that their suspension will be up and they are eligible to rejoin the conference in January.
Something I'm excited about to watch during the offseason is to see this year we didn't have any new teams start an 8-man football team. So I'm excited to see this upcoming year if we get somebody dropping from 11 to 8 or if we get somebody that just starts an 8-man program.
Is there anything on that we've heard yet from that from the Madisonville meeting with the Heritage, I think? Is there anything on that meeting yet?
No, I haven't heard anything from it, but that's a potential that could happen. Of course, hopefully Central Baptist will come back. Tennessee School for the Deaf will come back. Pleasant View is 6 feet under, already buried. So they're done. What? They ain't coming back. Yeah, they've already sold their gear. Pleasant View's gone. But anyways. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing if any new teams are starting.
Yeah, it's a potential for that, or who knows, maybe we'll have maybe even the Central Baptist School swordsmen will come back because – oh, yeah, that's right. You did mention that. I didn't hear you mention them specifically, but I'd love to take that trip out to Memphis at some point. I'd love to go back to Knoxville because I've only called one game for the Tennessee School for the Deaf that you and I did last year, and that was the day of the Vols getting that overtime victory, or last-second victory over.
The Hail Mary against Georgia. Yeah. Good memories, good faint memories. It was like Christmas this morning, though, when I woke up because one of my notifications said Butch Jones has been fired.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Christmas time because right after Thanksgiving, guess what's happening? ESPN is laying off 100 staffers, which means John Gruden is coming to Tennessee. It's happening.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait, no.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Gruden isn't.
All right, listen. Knoxville's a great town. Better than Tuscaloosa. At least the people in Knoxville can spell Knoxville.
But Gruden isn't going to be coming to Tennessee.
I want to put my money on that one.
Gruden it's either going to be Gruden, Stoops, or heck, let's bring Chip Kelly in. Let's bring Chip Kelly to Tennessee. I'm down with that.
Well, Gruden. I'm sorry. When you say Gruden, I'm instantly thinking the lead color guy on Monday Night Football. That's what I'm thinking. You're talking about the other Gruden guy.
No, that's that,
You're talking
about
about
Jordan
he's
from
not
Monday
going
Night
to get
Football.
let go from ESPN.
His
He's
family-
a color guy on
Dude,
ESPN on Monday
Yeah,
Night
they
Football.
also shouldn't have let go of Paul Kowarski, who's sponsored by our title.
He shouldn't have been let go. I know that.
He's sponsored by them. He shouldn't have been let go. ESPN is cutting their losses because they're idiots and they're terrible. They're fake news. And so it's very possible that they could be cutting their losses on John Gruden. His wife has family in East Tennessee. So here you go, Tennessee. It's going to be a great 2018 for not just the Volunteers.
Isn't that what y'all said every year?
Definitely not Vandy. But it's going to be a great year for Tennessee and Kentucky 8-man football.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see a lot from that. You know, you mentioned ESPN. I'm trying to look back here. I sent out I put a tweet on. I'm trying to make sure I get the guys' names right. Who are the guys on First Take for ESPN? It's Stephen A. Smith, and who's the other guy?
Who cares?
Okay.
Nobody watches ESPN, which is why they're laying off stuff.
Here it is. So this is a tweet I put out that this is basically what First Take is in a nutshell on there. It's Stephen A. Smith. He says something in an argument. He's like, I like apples. I like goes into an argument about something, and then Max Kellerman comes back and he's like in a fight. You're on this, and you just said you like apples. So this, and he goes, why did I say that? When did I say I love apples in any of this? And then ensues a nonsensical fight about politics instead of forks, and ratings somehow go up and money flows to the both of them. That's basically
Rocky flop. You'll always be the worst in the SEC. Yeah, that wasn't the case in '98. By the way, I'm still waiting for that great NFL quarterback from Alabama, like since the 70s. Andy Dalton's doing no. Who's the dude for the SEC network? Yeah, we forgot his name too. I've got one name for you, Peyton Manning. Mic drop, and with that, thank y'all for a fantastic 2017.
Well, we're not over yet.
To be fair, Peyton is set for life. He doesn't have to coach, even though he could, but he's set for life with the amount of commercial plans he has. That he has no need to go back to coach other than for his love for football.
Yeah, and give me an Alabama quarterback who has a commercial set up with.
It's Peter Burns is the SEC Network studio anchor for.
No. It's like Greg McElroy or something.
ESPN SEC Network studio anchor.
I'm not saying the anchor. SEC Network. It's McElroy. Anyways, we're way off topic.
Of course.
Let's get back. I got ice cream to eat. I'm just kidding. I don't have any ice cream. But anyways, I have an awesome wife to hang out with. So, you guys go to Logan's. And
I was about to say full disclosure, Logan's Roadhouse isn't sponsoring us, but they should. But Trent and I are going to Logan's Roadhouse, and he's refusing to go with us to celebrate a good season.
I'm going to church, and I'm going to hang out with my beautiful wife. So, y'all go be single and get numbers, and
The wife just said go to Logan's and get steak, so we're going to celebrate the season.
I just want to say one thing so we can get back on, actual football. I just want to say I feel really, really bad for Devry Zapata. I'm feeling for that guy. He broke his foot in the Nationals. I really hope he gets well really fast, but it sucks that he won't be able to play his last games with his guys.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah.
I've known Dever since he was a freshman, and he's a great kid. And, I really, really hate that for him. But, all right, listen, we're going to keep an eye on CCS down in Florida. They're going to play Russell Christian from Meridian, Mississippi. They're both Russell Christian was undefeated. They won the CFA championship. And, of course, CCS with the one loss in the year. So, it's going to be a really great ball game. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing Mr. Crawley over here with the fast finger.
Yep. Very much so. Now, as we said, we will be looking at the national championship that's going on here. James, stop bouncing in your feet. You've been so all over the place today. You've been bouncing back and forth between points. Have your ducks in a row.
I got something legitimate, okay? First off,
your other stuff wasn't legitimate.
First off, a huge shout out to Kentucky RV Sales. They've sponsored our interviews all year, and they have been fantastic helping us with travel and stuff. They've been sponsors, and I've really, really appreciated and enjoyed working with Coach with Mike Jones from up in Madisonville. Been a great deal running with him. I also have one question, and Mr. Crawley is in studio. Mr. Crawley, why is it called MDI Construct? What does the MDI stand for?
Technically, James, it stands for nothing. Really?
Yeah. So why MDI? Why not like CSI or something?
Well,
CSI's already taken.
copyright infringement, but it really means nothing. I had to have a business license when I was 19 and came up with MDI.
I figured it was like your first, like the first name of all the guys who invested or something.
No investors, huh? Full
That's
entrepreneur.
interesting. That's interesting.
Full entrepreneur. Yeah, but
We were wondering the other day. We were like, what does MDI stand for? Why MDI? Why not like what's your middle name?
It's Dwayne.
Okay, so why not
Dwayne
MDC?
Incorporated Construction Incorporated. We have the name there.
Michael Dwayne Incorporated.
Construction Incorporated.
Dwayne, not the Rock Crawley.
Yeah, but to add on to James there again, special thanks on the season to Kentucky RV Sales for sponsoring, and of course MDI Construction Inc. or as we Mad Dog Incorporated Construction Incorporated for sponsoring us, hosting Extreme Radio every Sunday here in their MDI Construction Inc. studios and such. It's been a great ride, and again, if you guys want to sponsor 8-Man Extreme, just email us 8manextreme@gmail.com and we can get something set up for you. Because we're always looking for new companies to join in this venture as well. We're looking for some good stuff as well. I hear some cough in my crawling. You want to say something else? Oh, okay. Yeah. But of course, again, any sponsors who want to come in, go ahead and come in. And again, thanks to Kentucky RV Sales and MDI Construction Inc. James, I'm going to say this stuff. Come on, man. Come on.
I wanted to give a big thank you to 615 Sports because they're helping us. They helped us with the All-Star Game logo, with our new Awesome 8 logo. Where you can get gear with that logo this week, along with stuff from this All-Star game. But a big shout out to Ken Maynard and John Williams for doing that. Big shout out to Fort Bluff Camp and ACA Sports for this whole past weekend. It was fantastic. And how about a shout out to Trent jumping on board when he came home from college? He could have just sat back and been he could have been like bitter and what's the word,
Lazy?
No, well, yeah, lazy, but it started with a D. What's it called? You're not discouraged, you're depressed. Exactly. Thank you. Depressed. He could have been depressed about Pleasant View not having football, and he could have just said, I'm done with football. But as soon as he came back, he was like, hey, how can I jump in and help out? So it's been awesome.
It was actually, I messaged you about it on the ride back home from Mississippi College. Right. And that's when I messaged you. As soon as I packed my bags and I was driving to Mississippi College,
what made you want to message and ask if there was anything you can do? How did that pop in your head to message?
Well, I have a lifestyle of if someone gives something to me, I like to give them back. And so I felt like all of the help you gave to me with the All-Star game, like I said to so many people, but I don't think I've ever said it publicly, like me playing for Pleasant View, honestly, stunk. And whenever I got, the offer to go play for the All-Star game, it felt like I was finally recognized. I had worked my tail off for 5 years. Off season, did everything I could to get better, and someone finally recognized that, and that meant the world to me, and so I really wanted to pay it forward.
Well, it's been awesome working with you, dude. Working awesome with you. Awesome working with you. It's been awesome working with Elijah here at the last part of the season. I was getting to Isaiah. Isaiah Austin has been a massive help and doing play-by-play, doing color. I'm really looking forward to him working with us because I think he's going to jump on board. So he may be a guy that you see a lot of next year, see him on the show and hear him on the show. But, I'm excited. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Maybe he could be our Tony Romo for color commentators for some games. Like, he could be predicting everything since he's sort of fresh out. Yeah, you haven't predicted like Tony Romo has on his broadcast, though. You haven't been like...
Yeah, well, I'm not an NFL quarterback that studied every single team, 3 times over.
That's what I'm saying, is because Elijah's a former MTAC quarterback. He could do predictions like that, like the Tony Romo of 8-Man Extreme. That's what I was saying on that.
I'd be pretty down with that. And on the threat of having a stalker tonight at church, I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Micaiah Adair for listening to almost every show, because I don't think you've listened to one, but almost every show. So big shout out to Micaiah.
Yep. And
I want to give out one shout out myself. I just want to give a shout out to all the seniors that have sweated blood, sweat, and tears on the field, because there's people sitting on their butts eating a bag of chips at home saying football's too hard. The seniors are the people that stand up, get up every day to go, literally just fight it out and for football. And I just give all the respect to all the seniors that played this year, and hopefully they get to play college. But if not, it was a pleasure having them in MTech.
the most important shout out we have to give, obviously, before ourselves. The most important shout out we have to give before ourselves, to some extent before the coaches and everybody else, and we are very thankful to the coaches for making our job easier. But the biggest shout out way before ourselves, but that we need to give first to everybody, is you all, the listeners, the fans, and everyone. Because without you, I don't want to say without you we wouldn't exist, because James would probably still do this. We would all still do this even if we didn't have people listen. But with your support, your criticism, your comments, everything that you guys have done throughout the season and helping us, more importantly, you guys interacting has helped us to continue in this venture, and we're ready for next season, especially because we broke new grounds with the first video 8-man extreme broadcast, the first time we've simulcast 2 games at the same time on video, and a lot of firsts have happened that the first time we've done a radio show on YouTube and such. And from what we've heard, you guys have really enjoyed all of the expansions that we've had, everything we've done throughout the season and such. And keep the comments and criticism coming. Even if your criticism may be harsh, we love it, but we cannot improve unless you guys tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. So big thank you to you, all of you who listen to the show and have supported us throughout this season, as well as have supported James and JD in the past as well for all of their ventures and everything. So in recap, it's been a great 2017 season. I'm not sure how long of a break we're taking. It's about, I think, 2 or 3 months break, or maybe a break until spring. Well, in terms of extreme radio, we'll be having a break until April, until spring training starts. But we will still have updates for the league meeting that we're going to try and attend in January to get updates on the schedules. We'll be doing some updates, social media, and Sundays we will be posting each game, I believe, in order of how they occurred in the season. We will be giving updates throughout that. So we will. So be sure to look for those games as they're broadcast and such. And oh yeah, and the All-Star game is going to stay public. Be sure to go back up and watch that. And next week, the 2017 All-Star gear will be able to purchase at 6won5.com. Well, it's been a great 2017 season. So until next year. Hug it out. So until next year, we're going to get some nice medium rare steak. And if anyone doesn't get medium rare steak, we ask them politely but firmly to leave. But on behalf of James Shannon, Trent Legate, Monica Shannon, Isaiah Austin, Elijah Jones, all the coaches, fans, everybody who's been involved with 8-Man Extreme this year, I'm Spencer Tomset. We'll see you next year for 2018, and we cannot wait for what's to come. And James, you going to do your final... Final signature sign up there. # Bowling Green Bias, # CCS Bias. We'll see you next year.